Meatflation is rocking the nation.
I was eating a burger.
Episode 245, UFC Mexico City. A quick three-banger, rare, only 3 steaks for this week, Meat Boy, but we scoured this card top to bottom. It's a true duster, right? And we're honestly surprised that they didn't just pull the plug on this event when Asu Almabayev was unable to show up, but nonetheless, they're scraping together this event, and we're scraping together this breakdown. Before we break down this week's UFC Mexico City, we did kind of get smoked last week, Meat Boy, we're not going to lie. We both went 1-4. The Meatlock I did want to touch on, though, because I personally thought that Zach Reese did enough to beat Demolidor. It was a close split decision loss. What did you make? Did you think that we got zucked, or did Demolidor deserve the split decision and spoiled Meatlock on our end? What'd you think?
Yeah, no, the spoiled meat, very unfortunate. And I mean, Michelle came out hot first round. You know, it's pretty typical of him. Started to gas though. I don't know. It definitely was close. I thought we had it, but I'm not over here saying it was a robbery, if that makes sense. But I could have seen it go either way.
Yeah, that's fair. We're definitely not going to cry over spoiled milk for sure. Does suck to be on the wrong end of a split nonetheless. Either way, though, we both went 1-4. Not our most profitable weekend for sure. The meat event, Fluffy, got absolutely smoked by Sean Strickland. Strickland finished him with a TKO. It seemed like Fluffy was goaded into a fight versus Sean that was not advantageous, clearly. I mean, it didn't seem like Fluffy was trying to push the wrestling and grappling like he does versus literally everyone else. It's almost as if he wanted to try and prove a point by standing and banging with Sean Strickland, and ultimately it cost him dearly. So what'd you make of that upset, and is Sean going to be next to challenge for the title? I mean, you got to give Sean the props. It was an impressive victory. To do that to Fluffy when no one else does, what's next for him?
Yeah, I mean, man, very impressive. I was pretty torn on that, like, you know, because Sean is really good. Like, that's, you know, love him or hate him, like, he is very good. But there's just some people that you just kind of know when, like, Alex Pereira, you just know, like, he's probably getting knocked out unless he tries to grapple, which we know he's not. And then, like, if he, you know, Hamzat probably is going to ragdoll him really bad. But Fluffy, I kind of thought Fluffy was going to ragdoll him, but yet he tried to prove a point. Like, it's like, it reminds me of Bilal versus what's his name? Who did he fight?
Jack Dilla.
Jack Della. It's like, hey Bilal, why you didn't attempt one takedown? Like, what was that? You get 60 takedowns versus Usman or Leon Scott or whoever, but then like what was that? Same thing here. It's like, Fluffy, come on, you should have started off hot, and he tried to stand and bang, and that's, I mean, unless you're Alex Pereira, you're probably going to lose a Strickland if you stand and bang, to be fair. You got to mix it up and just do better. But crazy to see Fluffy get finished. Crazy to see Sean Strickland get a finish. Sean Strickland typically is a decision king, and he kind of just breaks people. But, man, he really broke and hurt Fluffy. And Sean looked great shape. That's probably the best shape I've seen Sean, like his physique and everything. He looked very sharp. Usually he's got like a dad bod, but I was like, whoa, he's been training. So I think he really wants that title fight, and I'm very curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, great points. He was dialed for sure. Probably the best version of Sean we've seen, and that's saying something given the version we saw when he won the belt as a plus 900 dog against Izzy on the road. So impressive stuff for Sean. And you mentioned the point. I mean, it's crazy. Sometimes these dudes go on fat win streaks. They find their bread and butter. They find their way of winning fights. But once they get that meat event slot, all the eyes, the 5-round contest, the media obligations, the enhanced oversight, so to speak, sometimes they switch up their game plan. So bad outcome for Fluffy. Hopefully he can recover. But either way, me boy, not our best. Houston's in the rear view trying to swap us through to this Mexico City dink and break down these 3.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get right to the meat.
Swap us through then. You see the text. Easy light work Meatlock. A heavy hammer Meatlock in this one. Brandon Moreno is a minus 225 favorite against Loner Kavanaugh plus 172. And again, as mentioned earlier, Moreno was supposed to be fighting Asu Almabayev on this fight. It gets scrapped. Loner Kavanaugh inserts himself in a premier mainstream opportunity for him. But this is just a true mismatch. I mean, Brandon Moreno is 34-9 overall, a wealth of experience, 12-6-2 in the UFC, the former champ. And he's taking on Loner Kavanaugh, who obviously is a hyped up prospect, Dana White Contender Series kid, 3-1 in the UFC. But this dude just got slept by Rat Tail. I mean, Charles Johnson stiffened him out cold. And Charles Johnson, respect to him, he's a tough flyweight, but he's a 500 flyweight. And Moreno would obviously smoke Charles Johnson if for some reason they ever fought, but they never would fight. And I believe that this fight, I don't know why this fight's even happening, right? I mean, why is Brandon Moreno fighting Loner Kavanaugh? It just makes zero sense. And why are the odds as close as they are? I mean, it's not that minus 225 is sexy by any means, but for as big of a lock as this is and as big of a mismatch as this is, I'm surprised that Moreno's not a minus 500. So we're going to capitalize on this easy light work Meatlock. Way too much too soon for Loner Kavanaugh. How do you see this fight going down? Is Moreno going to pick up a finish that has eluded him for these last few years, or is this going to be a grind him out decision? It's a Meatlock for a reason, but how does Moreno get it done?
Yeah, no, this is an absolute Meatlock. I mean, this is either, hey, let's put on a show, let's get Brandon Moreno back in the win column, let's sell out an arena and make Brandon Moreno even a bigger superstar because he's probably the only superstar that represents, like, I mean, at least mega superstar for Mexico that I can think of. There's obviously some others, but like he's like the pinnacle, I feel like. So they definitely want him to win. I mean, this guy is coming off a pretty bad loss. I just don't see how Moreno could lose this. This is going to be a beating, probably a first or second round finish. But man, props to the kid for taking this fight, and this is a great opportunity for him. But he's probably going to have to go to BKFC after this because it's just all downhill for that kid after Brandon Moreno beats him down.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, respect for Loner for stepping into this one. Absolutely. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer for him to take this fight. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. He's fighting in a difficult situation against a former champ. If he wins this fight, he's suddenly in title conversations. But it's just way too much of a jump in competition. And while Brandon Moreno has lost recently, he lost to Tatsuro Taira, and Tatsuro Taira will be challenging for the belt here shortly. So we've seen Moreno run into hype beasts before, whether it was Steve Erceg, who he dominated, Amir Al-Bumzi, who he could scrape together this event with Moreno at the top, knowing that they could still sell the place out because of how big of a superstar he is. And the next two fights, I mean, you got David Martinez, who obviously they're trying to build into a budding star, and Daniel Zellhuber would probably be the next biggest guy, and he's lost two straight. So Moreno definitely is in a league of his own as far as Mexican marketability is concerned. So consider him a lock to carry the torch for this entire event. We're throwing down an easy 900 to net 400. It's a high confidence heavy hammer. We've been kind of slowly dinking our way back to even. Let's get a nice boost here with an easy Meatlock. Are you taking him by finish, or ultimately is this a 5-round decision?
No, this is definitely gonna be a finish within the first 3 rounds, 100%.
Yeah, I buy that for sure. I mean, if Loner Kavanaugh's getting slept by the Rat, I mean, it's not going to be a good night for him against Moreno. So I'll go Moreno, third round TKO, maybe even a sneaky sub, but I like the idea for a finish as well. Any last thoughts on this, me, like me, boy?
No, this is I mean, a fun fight for Brandon Moreno fans, and pumped to see him get a dub.
Yeah, should be good for sure. Swap us through, though. Another hyped up prospect in this one, Daniel Zellhuber taking on King Green, or at least he was a hyped up prospect. He's kind of run into some hiccups of late, lost two straight. Esteban Ribovics was a close fight in the night, split decision. And then most recently, he was like a minus 500 favorite and got low key smoked by Michael Johnson, which was not a great loss for him. I mean, obviously, respect to Michael Johnson, but I think most expected, the UFC definitely expected Daniel Zellhuber to go through Michael Johnson, and he absolutely didn't. So they're taking another step back. They're offering him King Green in this one, who is a basically 70-fight veteran, a 500 UFC fighter, and a dude who really hasn't had a lot of recent success, or hadn't at least, until he got a nice win recently against Lance Gibson Jr. So in this one, do you expect King Green to, as a close to plus 400 dog, due to Daniel Zellhuber, what Michael Johnson just did, or is King Green not even on the Michael Johnson level, and Zellhuber should smoke King Green like many expected him to smoke Michael Johnson?
Yeah, no, I think Zellhuber. I mean, he's definitely got a punch chance because, like you said, he was a hyped up prospect. But man, ah, King Green. I gotta go with Zellhuber. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to mean King Green, but I think he's washed. I think he's done. So Zellhuber, this is a bring him back to the win column. To be honest, the odds shouldn't be this crazy. I think it should be closer to like a minus 200. But Zellhuber is a big boy, so I could see him absolutely ragdolling King Green. I think he's just getting too old.
Yeah, this is a fight that I think it's make or break for Daniel Zellhuber. I mean, if you drop back-to-back L's as a minus 500 favorite to Michael Johnson and King Green, then to me, you're just no longer deserving of those odds and no longer deserving of the hype because this was a dude who, again, at one point he was 15-1. His only loss was to Trey Ogden up a weight class, and he had rifled off 3 straight wins. But you look at the guys, Lando Venata, who hadn't won a fight in close to a decade, Christos Yagos, the Spartan. I mean, it is what it is. And Francisco Prado, who's another one of these young, hyped up prospects, but pretty much loses every fight. So I'm curious to know how good actually is Daniel Zellhuber, and if he doesn't bring his best version, does King Green perhaps have enough to take him out? I mean, if you were to try and scheme a pathway for King Green, what would be his closest pathway to victory? Is King Green going to go out there and outstrike Zellhuber? Like, as this fight unfolds, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, King Ring's definitely gonna want to strike, but also Zellhuber's probably gonna want to strike, but he's just way longer, way stronger. But I think Zellhuber needs to mix it up. I think King Green needs to stay on the outside and burst in with his jabs, his combinations, and use his speed. But like, I think King Green is gonna get clipped either way. So I think Zellhuber might land a head kick to the dome, maybe spinning back kick to the dome, or just a full-fledged haymaker. But either way, I think King Green goes night night.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, when we saw King Green get absolutely slept by Rufy, that was not a great look. He did respond though with a nice split victory afterwards, so at least that was a good sign to see for King Green. But I think that this should be a Zellhuber win, should be a Zellhuber finish. 84% is going tap Zellhuber on Tapology, 16% go with King Green. Majority is Brown for the KO. I'm gonna YOLO a decision in this one. Maybe this fight is close. Maybe even YOLO a split decision because this could be one of those fights where Daniel Zellhuber arguably loses. King Green probably should get the nod, but there's some hometown judging Zuckery that yields a split decision for the Golden Boy. So for me, I'm going Zellhuber by decision, Zellhuber by Dink, YOLO split decision, and I think that this fight might be kind of close because I'm not yet sold on Zellhuber. I think I was at one point, but from what I've seen recently, I'm kind of off the train, and even a 40-year-old King Green, I think, could be competitive in this one. So I'll go by Zellhuber by split. You're going Zellhuber by finish?
Yeah, Zellhuber by finish.
Swap us through then. Last one again. We usually break down 5, 6, 7, or 8, but we're breaking down 3 for this absolute dust scrapper. David Martinez is versus Chito Vera is the co-meet. David Martinez is 13-1, undefeated in the UFC. Just picked up a beautiful win over Rob Font, and it was a close fight, but one that earned him the unanimous decision. And prior to that, he picked up a performance at the night finish over Simon Oliveira, who obviously is awful, but Dave Martinez is the guy who they're already skyrocketing him up to the top. I mean, this is a tough matchup against a dude in Chito Vera who at one point was a top fighter in this division. It's been pretty rough of late. I mean, he's lost 3 straight, lost 4 of 5. His only recent victory was almost 3 years ago to this point against Pedro Munoz. And most recently, it's been tough. And every single fight has been the exact same, right? Cheeto starts out slow. You're waiting for him to pick it up, waiting for him to pick it up, and it's always just a little bit too late when he eventually does. So, do you expect this fight to go any different? I mean, I feel like you got to really be creative to bet on Cheeto Vera coming out and picking up an early finish because, I mean, all we've seen in the last seemingly a decade from Cheeto is a slow start and him losing decisions. So, do you think that unfolds against David Martinez, or is Cheeto Vera coming back as a plus 240 dog to rediscover his sauce?
Yeah, I know, man. I think Cheeto. This is an interesting one because Cheeto's been on the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and now he's just kind of the journeyman. He's kind of in the king. I don't want to say he's in the King Green category, but kind of is. David Martinez as a pretty big favorite, which there was a point where people thought Cheetah was gonna beat Sugar Sean, so I don't know, man. I kind of want to pick Cheeto just because he's a veteran. He is a savage. He is pretty decent, but David Martinez, I mean, this is his second fight in the UFC, and he's already fighting these types of guys. Like, this guy's game. I mean, he just beat Rob Font, which is no joke for his second UFC fight. Like, who does that? Like, this is some Yuri Prohaska type stuff. Yuri Prohaska, what, his third fight was a title fight, something crazy like that, maybe fourth fight. So yeah, I think the Black Spartan, ah, he probably does win this, but I'm gonna pick Marlon Vieira, head kick third round,
Real
upset.
quick, again, they're sending him straight to the top. Rob Font was the 40-year-old gatekeeper. Now they're getting the 33-year-old gatekeeper in Chito Vera. So it's another great test. I love the matchmaking in this one. And perhaps this is just the opponent Chito Vera needs to get back on track, rediscover that sauce. I mean, you mentioned some people did pick him against Sean O'Malley. Some people, including your boy, I mean, he did beat Sean O'Malley technically, but ever since that rematch, that point was kind of proven, and then some, given what happened even after the rematch. So Chito Vera is obviously skidding. Dr. David Martinez, the Black Spartan, is ascending.
The Black Spartan typically finishes everyone. He's got 10 KOs, 3 decisions, but he did go decision versus Rob Font. So it wouldn't surprise me if a decision, but Cheetos, I mean, just like Dan Ige, 50K, everyone's bound to get knocked out eventually. Max Holloway, I think this is the year of people getting slept. And I think it's going to continue. So I think Chito Vera might be due. If he loses, he gets slept. If he wins, he does the sleeping. I think somebody's getting finished in this fight.
Yeah, bold call for sure. 80% is going with Martinez, 20 is going with Cheeto. It's all beige on both sides. They expect a decision for sure, and that makes sense. I mean, Cheeto has never lost by finish, right? Never been submitted, never been knocked out. Ate that Sean O'Malley flush knee, which probably would have put out 99 out of 100 guys. I mean, it does seem like Cheeto is sort of built different as far as being able to survive and not get finished. But to your point, you could say the same thing about Dan Ige. You could say the same thing about Max Holloway, right? Like, at some point, these guys, their systems do shut down from something. So we'll see if Martinez is the guy to put the lights out of Chito Vera. I kind of think this fight will go the distance. I will ever so slightly lean David Martinez, but this is a high pressure co-meet against a very tough dude in Chito Vera. So if Chito's dialed, if Chito comes out fast, I mean, everyone says the same thing for the last decade for Chito fights. But if he does this, if he does that, he'll win. But if he does, he probably will. So we'll see if he can finally just get everything clicking early in the fight as opposed to 8 or 9 minutes into the fight. I wouldn't bank on it, however. So I'll go doctor by slight decision.
Yeah, finish.
Let us know in the comments who you're taking for this co-meet. Is this the oppo that Chito Vera needs to get back on track, or is David Martinez going to be challenging for a belt here later this year or early next? But either way, Meat Boy, quick, easy, simple. UFC Mexico City, episode 245 in the books. Any last thoughts on this, Duster?
No, for sure, Dusty Dinkelman. Might as well scrap the card, but if it doesn't get scrapped, we will enjoy it.